The salt-laden air, crisp and bracing, was Alara's first true welcome. It carried the scent of distant pines and a hint of briny ocean, a scent that promised solace. She had driven for 2 days, leaving behind the cacophony of the city, the whispers of a past she desperately wanted to outrun, and the persistent ache of a heart that felt perpetually bruised. Her destination was a small, unassuming cottage nestled on the edge of Oakhaven, a village clinging to the rugged coast of Maine. The cottage itself was a study in weathered charm, clapboard siding painted a faded robin's egg blue, a porch swing creaking a silent invitation, and windows that stared out across a meadow toward the restless, boundless sea. Inside, the rooms were sparse, yet filled with a gentle light. Alara unpacked her boxes of art supplies, her well-worn books, and a single, carefully wrapped ceramic mug that was the only remnant of her grandmother's kitchen. She set up her easel by the largest window, the one that offered an unobstructed view of the shimmering expanse of water. This, she told herself, was where she would finally find her equilibrium. Days bled into weeks, each one a soft, watercolor wash of peaceful routine. Mornings were for walks along the pebble beach, collecting fragments of sea glass and observing the stoic rhythm of the waves. Afternoons were spent at her easel, translating the shifting moods of the ocean onto canvas, though the colors felt muted, almost hesitant. Evenings brought the ritual of warm tea and a good book by the fireplace, the crackling flames a comforting counterpoint to the distant mournful cry of a foghorn. Alara had sought solitude, and Oakhaven granted it generously. Her interactions with the locals were sparse but kind, a nod from the elderly woman at the general store, a polite exchange with the postman. She was content, she thought, in her quiet, self-imposed exile. Then she saw him. It was during one of her morning walks. She'd ventured further along the shore than usual, past the cluster of fishing boats bobbing gently in the harbor, towards a small, weather-beaten boathouse. Inside, a man was bent over, his broad shoulders filling the doorway, his hands deftly sanding a plank of wood. The air hummed with the soft rasp of sandpaper against timber, a rhythmic, almost meditative sound. He had dark, slightly unruly hair, dusted with sawdust, and when he straightened to wipe his brow, his eyes, the color of a stormy sea, met hers. There was no immediate spark, no dramatic recognition. Only a quiet, shared moment of acknowledgement. He offered a small, polite nod, a faint ghost of a smile playing on his lips, and then returned to his work. Alara felt a peculiar pull, a curiosity she hadn't anticipated. She lingered for a moment, observing the confident grace of his movements, the almost sacred attention he paid to the wood. He was not just building, he was coaxing life from inert material. His name, she learned later from Mrs. Henderson at the general store, was Finn. He was a boat builder, a quiet soul, as rooted to Oakhaven as the ancient oaks that lined the coastal road. He had inherited the boathouse and the trade from his father, and before him, his grandfather. There was a legacy in his hands, in his stoic presence. Their encounters remained sporadic, punctuated by the silent language of shared space. She would see him at the small village market, choosing fresh oysters with an expert eye. He would pass her cottage in his old pickup truck, heading towards the docks, and sometimes, she imagined, his gaze would linger a fraction of a second longer on her window. She found herself sketching him, not directly, but the essence of him, the curve of a strong forearm, the concentration etched on his profile, the way light caught the grains of wood he shaped. Her colors, she noticed, were slowly beginning to deepen, to find a richer hue. One blustery afternoon, a shutter on her cottage came loose, rattling violently in the wind. Alara, more accustomed to charcoal and canvas than tools and repairs, struggled with it. Just as she was about to admit defeat, a shadow fell across the porch. Finn stood there, a toolbox in one hand, his expression calm. "Saw you struggling," he said, his voice a low rumble, like the distant surf. "Mind if I?" She stepped aside, her cheeks flushing slightly at being caught in a moment of disarray. He fixed the shutter with an effortless efficiency that made her feel entirely incompetent. His presence filled the small space, not oppressively, but with a quiet strength. When he was done, he dusted his hands and looked at her, a genuine smile this time, lighting up his eyes. There you go. Should hold through winter. Thank you, Finn, she said, her voice softer than she intended. I really appreciate it. He hesitated, then glanced at the canvas on her easel visible through the open door. You paint the sea, he observed, not a question, but a statement of simple fact. Yes, she replied, a little self-consciously. It's inspiring. He nodded. It has many moods. He paused again, then added, your colors are good. Like the light just after a storm. It was a small compliment, but it resonated deeply. He had seen past the surface, into the heart of her work. For the first time, Elara felt truly seen, not as the city woman escaping her past, but as herself, an artist trying to find her way. After that, their interactions grew, subtly, like the gradual ebb and flow of the tide. He would sometimes bring her freshly caught fish, leaving it on her porch with a brief, almost shy knock. She, in turn, began leaving him sketches, a study of the gulls wheeling overhead, a detailed drawing of the intricate knots he tied. These small gestures were their silent conversations, a bridge built of mutual respect and quiet admiration. One evening, he found her sitting on the beach, wrapped in a thick blanket, watching the stars emerge like scattered diamonds on black velvet. He walked towards her, his footsteps barely audible on the sand. He sat down a respectful distance away, not speaking, simply joining her in the cosmic silence. It's incredible, isn't it? Elara finally whispered, her gaze fixed on the swirling nebula of the Milky Way. Infinite, Finn murmured, his voice a balm against the vastness. Makes you feel small. And yet, connected. They sat there for what felt like hours, sharing the enormity of the sky, the rhythmic whisper of the waves. Elara found herself telling him about her grandmother, the ceramic mug, the sense of loss that had driven her to Oakhaven. She spoke of her struggle to find her creative voice again, how the city had stifled her, how a past relationship had left her wary, guarded. Finn listened, his gaze steady, his presence unwavering. He didn't offer platitudes or easy solutions. He simply heard her. And when she finished, a raw vulnerability exposed, he finally spoke. My father used to say the sea heals all wounds, given time. It reminds you that even after the fiercest storm, there's always a calm shore waiting. He paused, picking up a smooth, white stone and turning it in his calloused fingers. I stayed here. Always. Had chances to leave, to see the world. But this place, it holds me. And for a long time, I thought that was enough. My work, the sea, the quiet. He looked at her then, his stormy eyes revealing a depth of emotion she hadn't yet fully grasped. But sometimes, even the quietest shore can feel a little empty. His words, simple yet profound, resonated with her own unspoken fears. Her solitude, once a sanctuary, now felt like a fragile shell. She saw in Finn a similar longing, a quiet yearning for something more, something to fill the spaces between the tides. Their conversations deepened, like roots reaching for water. They spoke of dreams unfulfilled, of responsibilities that tethered them, of the intricate dance between freedom and belonging. Elara learned that Finn had once dreamt of sailing around the world, of charting unknown waters, but a family illness had kept him rooted, a decision he never regretted but sometimes still pondered. He, in turn, learned of Elara's fear of loving again, of giving a piece of herself away only to have it shattered. One rainy afternoon, huddled in his boathouse, the scent of wood and salt thick in the air, he showed her an unfinished model of a schooner, meticulously crafted, its sails unfurled as if ready for adventure. This was the dream, he said, his voice soft. The vessel that would take me away. Elara traced the elegant lines of the hull. Why didn't you finish it? He shrugged, a heavy sigh escaping him. Life. And perhaps, fear. Fear of the unknown. Or maybe, fear of leaving behind the only shore I'd ever known. Later, Elara showed him her unfinished children's book, a story about a little sea otter searching for its lost shell. The pages were filled with vibrant, whimsical illustrations, but the last few were blank, the narrative stalled. I can't find the ending, she confessed. The otter is so close to finding its shell, to feeling whole again, but I can't draw it. Finn looked at the illustrations, his brow furrowed in thought. Perhaps, he said gently, the otter isn't just looking for a shell. Perhaps it's looking for a harbor. A place where it truly belongs, where it can be safe, with other otters. His insight was a revelation. Alara felt a tremor of understanding. She wasn't just looking for a peaceful shore, she was looking for an anchor. The slow-burning affection between them had become a palpable presence, a tender current that flowed beneath their every interaction. Their hands would brush when passing a tool or a cup of tea, and a warmth would linger. Their eyes would meet across a crowded room at the local diner, and a silent conversation would pass between them, understood only by them. The silences, once merely comfortable, were now filled with a rich, unspoken intimacy. She began to find the colors for her book again, her illustrations infused with the warmth and connection she was discovering. Then, the outside world intruded. An email arrived, crisp and professional, from a prestigious gallery in New York City. They had seen her earlier work, admired her evolving style, and were offering her a solo exhibition, a major opportunity, a chance to reclaim her place in the art world. It was everything she had once desperately wanted, everything she had worked for before her world had crumbled. The news hit her like a rogue wave. The old anxieties resurfaced. The city, the competition, the demanding pace, it all felt so distant now, so foreign to the quiet rhythm she had cultivated in Oakhaven. And Finn, the thought of leaving him, of severing this fragile, precious connection, sent a cold dread through her. She confided in him one evening, sitting on her porch swing, the wind whipping strands of hair across her face. He listened, his hands clasped between his knees, his gaze fixed on the darkening horizon. "It's a huge opportunity, Alara," he said, his voice carefully neutral. "You've worked for this." "But it means going back," she whispered, her voice tight with unshed tears. "Back to everything I ran from. And leaving here. Leaving you." He turned to her then, his eyes full of a quiet sorrow that mirrored her own. "I wouldn't ask you to stay, Alara. Not if it means abandoning your dreams." "But what if my dreams have changed?" she countered, her voice trembling. "What if this life, with you, is what I truly want?" His silence was heavy, burdened with unspoken fear. Alara understood. He had stayed rooted, watched others leave. He had built walls around his heart, and he was afraid to let them crumble, afraid of being left behind again. She saw her own fears reflected in his stoic facade. Her fear of loving, his fear of losing. The days that followed were clouded with an agonizing indecision. Alara tried to paint, but her hand felt heavy, her colors muted once more. She saw Finn, but their easy camaraderie was strained, a palpable tension hanging between them. She knew she had to make a choice, not just for her career, but for her heart. And she knew Finn, in his quiet way, was waiting, hoping, but refusing to push her. The emotional climax arrived on a tempestuous evening. The sky was bruised purple, and the wind howled like a banshee, rattling the windows of her cottage. Alara found herself drawn to the old lighthouse, a beacon against the encroaching darkness, a symbol of steadfastness. She saw Finn's truck parked near the base. He was there, standing on the observation deck, silhouetted against the churning sky, staring out at the violent sea. She climbed the winding stairs, her heart pounding a frantic rhythm against her ribs. When she reached him, the wind tore at her clothes, but she felt oddly grounded. "Finn," she shouted over the roar of the wind, her voice raw. He turned, his face etched with worry and something deeper, something akin to despair. "Alara. You shouldn't be out here." "I had to," she said, stepping closer, gripping his arm. The electricity of his touch shocked her, grounding her. I can't choose. Not without telling you this." She took a shaky breath, the words tumbling out, propelled by the storm inside and out. "I came here to heal, Finn. To find peace. And I found it, in the quiet, in the sea. But I also found something else. I found you. And now, the thought of leaving, it feels like tearing a piece of myself away. A piece I didn't even know was missing until you arrived. His stormy eyes held hers, a flicker of hope warring with his ingrained caution. Alara, he began, his voice hoarse, I don't know what to say. I've never asked anyone to stay. It feels selfish. It's not selfish, she insisted, her voice gaining strength. It's honest. And I need you to be honest with me. Do you feel it too? This connection? This pull? He closed his eyes for a moment, and when he opened them, the last vestiges of his guardedness had fallen away. Every day, Alara. From the moment I saw you sketching by the docks, I felt it. You brought color back to my world, colors I didn't even realize had faded. You make this quiet shore feel like home, truly home, for the first time in a long time. The thought of you leaving, it empties me. His confession, spoken in the teeth of the gale, was the most profound declaration she had ever heard. Tears streamed down her face, mingling with the spray from the furious sea. She reached out, cupped his face in her hands, her thumbs tracing the rough stubble on his cheeks. Then don't let me go, she whispered, her voice thick with emotion. He pulled her into his arms then, holding her tight, a desperate, tender embrace that spoke volumes. The wind raged around them, but within the circle of his arms, Alara felt a profound calm, a sense of belonging she had never known. It was not a sudden infatuation, but the deep, abiding comfort of two souls finally finding their anchor. The beautiful, colorful ending unfolded with the soft, deliberate rhythm of the Oakhaven tides. Alara did not refuse the gallery offer entirely. Instead, with Finn's quiet encouragement, she proposed a different arrangement, a virtual exhibition, with her contributing a smaller, more focused collection, emphasizing the peace and connection she had found. She would visit the city for the opening, but her home, her true creative wellspring, would remain in Oakhaven. Finn, too, began to expand his horizons. Inspired by Alara's unfinished book, he decided to finish his model schooner, not as an escape, but as a testament to his own journey. He even started teaching Alara how to tie complex knots, telling her stories of his ancestors who had sailed these very waters. Their love story was not a whirlwind romance, but a landscape slowly revealed, piece by tender piece. It was built on shared silences, on unspoken understandings, on the courage to be vulnerable. Alara learned that true strength wasn't in building walls, but in opening her heart, allowing herself to be seen and loved, imperfections and all. Finn, in turn, learned that growth didn't mean abandoning his roots, but allowing new branches to unfurl, embracing the possibility of a shared future that was richer and more vibrant than his solitary past. 1 year later, on a clear, sun-drenched morning, Alara sat by her window, her easel facing the sea. On the finished canvas before her, a vibrant tapestry of blues and greens, a lighthouse stood proudly against a sun-drenched sky, its beam reaching towards a small, sturdy schooner sailing gracefully on the horizon. The colors were rich, alive, infused with the warmth of her newfound happiness. Finn entered the room, the scent of sawdust and fresh sea air clinging to him. He wrapped his arms around her from behind, resting his chin on her shoulder, his gaze falling upon the painting. It's beautiful, Alara, he murmured, his voice filled with tenderness. The lighthouse, the schooner, it's us, isn't it? She leaned back into his embrace, her fingers intertwining with his. It's our journey, Finn. Our quiet shore, where we found our anchors, together. The last pages of her children's book were now complete, filled with bright, joyful illustrations of the little sea otter, not just with its shell, but nestled safely in a vibrant, bustling harbor, surrounded by other otters, finally home. The ending, she realized, was never about finding what was lost, but about discovering a new kind of belonging. The sea breeze drifted through the open window, carrying the scent of salt and pine, a symphony of peace. Alara closed her eyes, savoring the warmth of Finn's arms, the steady beat of his heart against her back. Love, she understood now, wasn't a sudden spark, but a gentle tide, slowly, patiently, reshaping the shore, leaving behind something more beautiful, more enduring, than she could have ever imagined. And she knew, with a quiet, certain joy, that their journey, like the endless sea, was just beginning.